The Inside for me is a violent, visceral horror film, psychological horror film, and it's violent, but it's not gory. It's more about what you don't see. It was meant to be a kind of a cross between a thriller building, a violent kind of dark thriller building up into a horror.
Pick it up. You just take it off, Kara. I don't want to break it. Jesus, delicate. There you go, see? So, how do you know it's on now? Did you see that flashing light? Yeah. That means it's fucking on.
The style of the film was handheld camera, and the idea was meant to be that the actors were actually using the camera themselves. So the film was structured so that the camera was never seen as being a device. It would be part of the actual film, part of the actual characters, what they were doing physically. It follows initially a slight drama, you know, it makes sense, the girls filming each other, then it becomes a violent thriller, so the homeless guys then use the camera, otherwise it would become superfluous, because they needed a reason to use it. And then it became plot driven through needing the light and for when the horror creature arrives. So then the camera actually became the light. And that was important to me, that the camera was not simply just there and suddenly, oh, you're filming. The way I filmed it was, I filmed everything by standing beside the actors. So whoever was meant to be holding the camera would stand beside me and act, and then Brendan was beside me and sound. And it also meant that then I was able to direct within the scene, because as everyone's each take was really a minimum of 6 to 10 minutes. So it meant that people were allowed to act and react and kind of get really into it properly, and then I could actually push and dictate who I wanted to pick up the camera next, and then I could decide where I was going to go and what was going to happen.
Okay, now with this, right, when you got the camera, if I move, you just go with me.
Okay.
Okay? And if I decide I'm not going to go there and move it there, you just go with me, just let it flow, and just kind of see what happens to me, kind of initiate something that kind of happens to me. 3, 2, 1, and action!
Right guys, I got the birthday girl! Let's get this party started! Check it out.
What is this place?
This used to be an animation studio.
Finding the location was very important, and Franco Noonan, the producer, was quite adamant with it. I mean, I had a couple of places that I kind of was okay with, but they just didn't quite fit. And so we looked at the Temple Theatre, we looked at the bar, we looked at these various places, and then we met this guy. And when we found this place, we still weren't quite certain of it. It was dilapidated. It needed to be wrecked. It needed to be somewhere we had a lot of rooms you could move through, so you could get lost and be not quite. So you'd lose your sense of space.
I think we found a perfect location that would bring that out of the actors and the crew in real life. It was this warehouse in Rutland Place, and Eddie, who the owner, was using it to just store antiques and all these kind of things.
Lovely glass cabinet. This is all that's left here. Yeah, this is all. Look at the goat. This is the door for the thing here, but it's locked. Or is it over the other side? That seems to be going outside. What a weird collection of stuff. It's a gold mine. It's a gold mine. Weird place though, weird place. Pity you don't have smellorama here. Some smell.
Eddie had agreed to let us shoot there. We were at the back in the back shed one day. I found this hole in the ground, right? And I said, what's down there? So I got my phone. It was the only one we had. I got a light on the phone, and I jumped down into the hole. And I found that it went all the way back. It was in this kind of cavern thing. And I went down, and apparently, now where we were shooting was a warehouse that was on a back laneway, and it was almost in the back garden of these old Georgian houses that were in Dublin. And apparently these were the old servant passages, and it blew my mind because speaking about atmosphere, and the times we spoke about atmosphere while we were finalising the script and doing the actors and coming up with the sequence of events, that to then stumble upon this crypt, for want of a better word, right underneath our feet was just mind-blowing. And straight away I was like, we've got to shoot in here. We have to do it. And I think I clambered out the hole, and I nearly had to drag on down. He was scared to go down. I just had a phone light, and once he got down there though and realised what we were actually literally standing on, it became a no-brainer. We're going to shoot the end of the film down here.
The crypt was horrendous. We didn't want to go back down there. I know it's tripe to say that yeah, you made a horror film and you were haunted. It's not quite that simple. I think there are certain places you go in life where you get a feeling of something. Nothing specifically happened apart from Liam, who Liam O'Rourke, who's playing the dead guy, the dead worker. When Kelly's there, we left him down there for almost 10 15 minutes at a time, and he, after 4 takes, didn't want to do it anymore, and he is involved in paranormal investigations because he thought he was talking to a girl.
No, 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 please, no, no, please, no, please.
3, 2, 1, action. Quiet. Can I go from the top again?
The most important, pivotal point of the film is when the homeless guys actually enter the film, because that changes the tone from being a slightly dramatic play between these girls and the boyfriend, all that kind of stuff. We want to bring in a bit of the drama with Sean having sex in Natalia. When the homeless guys arrive, the whole tone changes, because then it becomes a proper horrific thriller.
Fucking telling you, fuck off with the fucking camera, I burst you, you cunt! I fucking burst you, you cunt! I'm fucking warning you! Fuck off with that camera!
Look who we have here.
Louise, don't hurt her.
Don't hurt her.
The 3 actors for the homeless guys I cast because I'd worked with them, Brian and Emmett and Carl, and they're cast in, they're meant to be a group of you know, the leader, the older guy, statesman, and the doofus to a certain extent. These guys are meant to be the dregs of society, the dregs of modern society, rapists, murderers, killers, thieves, and they are sheltering in this wrecked warehouse, and then they're woken up by the girls, and they come and they do what they do.
Now, Gary, you're being very rude here. Let me introduce ourselves. I'm Amo. This is my good friend Scott. And my other good friend Huey.
Hello.
Wave to the camera, Huey.
Emmett J Scanlan, and I play Huey. Huey is an incredibly disturbing, sick sociopath who takes incredible pleasure in tormenting, hurting, raping and murdering people.
Go on, he won't hurt you. Go on, he won't hurt you.
Yeah!
It's okay, he's only messing.
Let's just say we have take. Macken talks us through it. There's four spots that you have to hit. You have to hit A, B, C, and D. Between A and B, anything can happen. Between B and C, anything can fucking happen. Between C and D, anything can fucking happen. So long as you you go with it. I mean, you just all you know is that you have to hit these points, and everything else is improv. And if you get a great bunch of actors who are willing to go that extra mile, then the sky's your limit. And it is dangerous because sometimes you get lost in the role. Sometimes you get lost in the take. And I'll tell you something right now. You do not see a cameraman there. You do not see a crew there. When you're gone, deep in it there, forget about it. You don't see anything. In fact, are there anyone to fucking say that they remember that? And if they do, then they're not in the character. If I met Huey walking down the street, I'd go the other way, I'd run, I'd get the fuck out of there. You know, when his back is turned, I'd smack him over the head. Just get the fuck out, man. This guy is a sick son of a bitch. He deserves everything that comes to him.
Look at the little face on him! Funny bastard! Oh, I hurt you! Funny fucker! I'm not gonna hurt you! Right, I like to call this game Spin the Slut. Here's the bottle, I spin this, it lands on the slut, and we get the fuck the womb off you. Here's the deal. 3 boys, 3 spins. Are we happy? Are we happy? Are you fucking happy?
The most sensitive scene to shoot in the film was definitely the scene where Brian has to rape Natalia. And the way we shot it is, we have a laugh. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, because it was actually probably the easiest scene to do in the whole film from an actual filming point of view, because it's a very tight shot. Brian's on a cushion, Natalia's lying beside him. I think she's having a bit of crack and talking music in between, because it's all about the moment just when they're acting. And it was more just kind of going, just trying to get them to lie beside each other, and like, so they're not hurting their knees, because she had leggings and stuff on. It's shot in close-up because it's not about seeing anything physical, it's about seeing the emotions behind their faces, seeing what's happening, seeing the disempowering effect that this has on Natalia. It's not about seeing anything, I don't want to see it, it's not about it being sexual, it's about the actual emotional feeling that happens. This scene had a very, very strong reason behind it. It was meant to occur at the crescendo of the height of what man can do to another man, like the absolute violence, the worst thing that can occur in humanity, which is the disempowering idea of being raped after everything else. Because the creature's not something that they just stumble upon, like you walk through a door and there's a grave. It's meant to be symbolic of when there's so much negative energy and a bad aura and bad feelings and bad vibes, that this summons the creature, that it's drawn to this negative place.
He's almost like a moth to a flame. He's drawn to violence. He's drawn to this negative build up in the room, and it comes back with, like, he brings the worst kind of negativity with him that anyone could possibly imagine, and it's just pure evil, and that really intrigued me. Because we were coming from 2 very strong scenes, we needed to give the audience a bit of breathing space, and to just slow the film down a moment before we actually show the creature proper. So it's not like bang, 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 here's everything on a plate, and we also wanted to give the real idea of where these people were. So we have this scene then when they're going downstairs and they're going around basically the whole of the downstairs, to really give a sense of place, a sense of where they are, and a sense that they could get impossibly lost in here, and the only thing keeping them going is the light in the camera, and that anything could be around any corner. Like, what could possibly happen to these people? And then they find that room with the symbols on the wall, and they see the creature for the first time, and they realise that things can get a whole lot worse. And they are about to get a whole lot worse.
The conception of the creature was very important. Myself and Franco, the producer, we decided that we wanted something that was very real, was based on a human form. We got references of various films, but we wanted something like Nosferatu. It's something that's so disturbing because it might not get to you, it's almost slow, but it's got this kind of horrific twisted nature to it, like in Nosferatu. And the idea of the creature was, he is very slow and he is weird. He's a dead thing. There's nothing living about him, but he can move. He can just move by, it's not explained what it is. It could be teleportation, or he's just incredibly super quick when you don't look, or he's almost a ghost. With Nadia is amazing, and the makeup conception came talking to Nadia how we could develop and make Patrick Moynihan, wonderful actor, how we could make Patrick as grotesque and weird as possible and make him as almost insect-like. So she designed this latex mask for him, which is really hard to do with the nose and the mouth, and he had these teeth and everything, and he had a thing in his skull cap thing, and all sorts of things, and he was in this little thong, just covered in blood and latex, and it's to make him look as dead as possible, like he was still melting, like he was physically disintegrating decomposing before our eyes. For Patrick, I mean, it was a very difficult shoot because it was very cold. I wanted it to be in a place, an environment that was cold, hard. It was imbued with this feeling of what we were shooting. So you came away from actually feeling you were involved in something. You know, the place was scary. We were actually physically afraid being there. It was not a nice place to be. It was grotesque. And he has to spend 3 or 4 hours of makeup each night, and that is very short time to do this because we're shooting a very tight time frame to get into this grotesque nature. I want it to be a terrifying, engaging film which leaves you thinking about it. So there's moments in it, it's not about making you jump, it's about getting into your soul. It's kind of harrowing. And if you really connect to the film, watching the right time with the right you know, at night time with the right sound on your own, it really connects with you because it stays with you. And it's not just about the horror, it's about what man can do to man, it's about everything about it. And it gets deep within your bones. And I think it's very strong that way because it works in that regard. I think Irish horror can be explored because we've so much history with ghosts and with banshees and with these tales. There's an awful lot to do, and I'd like to try and explore that a bit more because there's a lot of things that can be created with Irish history to do with horror, and I think there's a chance in the market to do that. I'd like, hopefully this film can inspire some people to try and create things. This film is about trying to create something. It was an idea, and it's a little bit different, and it was just trying to make something that would stay with you and was just a little bit different.
But you just stand here on your own in the room listening to classical.
I just pressed the button and I got up here and then you fucking opened the door. Seriously, can I have a fucking bit of privacy or something?
What's a cup of tea?
Everywhere you go, fucking
Yeah, whatever, mate. Yeah, shut up. I'm like 20 minutes later, I open the door. He was still standing there in the same position. Look, he's got snot coming out of his nose. That's how much he's laughing.